Hey guys, it's Core Ross and Rainbow Six News. Today we are looking at an unreleased Rainbow Six Siege operator called Arachnia, and she had a very spider-themed gadget that we're going to take a look at today. Now, I routinely keep an eye on the concept art that is posted to portfolios of Rainbow Six Siege artists from past and present, and this was an artist that put up a lot of stuff recently, and it's also very old things. So this concept art is from 6 years ago, in the lead up to Operation White Noise, and Arachnia here would have been the attacking operator in that season alongside the defender Vigil. We've also got concept art for Vigil as well, and this is what it was originally envisioned to look like, and I get a very Ghost Recon Future Soldier vibe from this character, and definitely this kind of style ended up leading into Nuke in future seasons, which of course has a very similar ability to Vigil. Although I do wonder, looking at these concepts, if these characters were supposed to actually have some sort of transparency to them when up against just a normal player. Obviously, Nuke and Vigil are able to go invisible to cameras and drones and such, but I do wonder if there was supposed to be a little bit of a transparency when you're actually up against normal players as well. Anyway, let's jump back to Arachnia and break her down. So, first of all, she would have been entirely different to Dokkaebi. So, if she had launched with Operation White Noise, it would have been a very different season because she would have had a very different gadget to what we ended up with Dokkaebi. And let's talk about this gadget. So, the only text here with this post was that the gadget was spider based, and that's about it. We can see that it has a peel away for adhesive at the bottom there, so it's a stationary gadget, something that she places, and it's also got text saying lots of sensors, and it looks as if there is 8 cameras all around it, so it could potentially have a 360-degree view if those like popped up or something like that. It also appears to have some sort of sensor on the top, maybe a motion sensor, and it also appears to have a lens for a laser, as that appears to be the same warning laser that is on Maestro's turret. And that's what I thought at first. Maybe this was actually supposed to be an attacker's version of Maestro's turret, being able to kind of pop up and shoot at things. And yeah, that would work. Maybe it's not bulletproof. Maybe she just has a couple that she can place when she's attacking. But it would make her very vulnerable because placing gadgets as an attacker is pretty much unheard of unless it's a claymore. Everything else that attackers have, they can fire or they can throw. But looking at the actual size compared to the operator, it's not much bigger than a magnet, so this thing may well have been a throwable device. And my guess is that possibly this is actually an earlier version of what Zero ended up with a camera that he could shoot out, and then it had a laser on it that can shoot, defender gadgets. That would make a lot of sense, and I could see that being far better than actually placing it down and being very, very vulnerable. So throwable gadget that can stick to walls, being able to have a lot of optics to see around, and a laser to take stuff out, perfectly matches up with what this operator could do. However, it doesn't really fit into the kind of spider theme that they appeared to be going with, according to the little text description that this had. So I can't see this being a robot that runs around with little legs, as it does have an adhesive bottom, so it ain't going anywhere. However, the other idea I had for this thing is maybe it's more of a motion sensor. Certainly that dome on the top could be a motion sensor. Put these down, and then if anyone runs past it, it pings them, and maybe even make that laser a tripwire instead, so that it doesn't maybe like explode, but again pings defenders as they move through doorways or corridors or things like that. And it certainly does not look like a bulletproof gadget either. Bulletproof gadgets did not come into Siege until far later, so I think this could have been more of an easily destroyed gadget, as operators like Maestro with his bulletproof gadget didn't come until the following year. But certainly I'd love to hear your theories of what this thing might have done in the comments below. And let's just have a talk about what could have happened if we had an alternate reality where Operation White Noise did launch with this attacker, and let's just say that this device was some sort of counter roamer or something like that, something to just kind of ping roamers as they ran around. And on the defense side, we had Vigil, who would have been able to either go partially invisible to cameras like he does in reality, or maybe partially invisible to actual players, and would have also countered this very device if that was the case. I also like the style this Vigil had, and would love to see that kind of look in another Defender someday. But talking of looks, we should also have a look at this girl's outfit because there's a lot of stuff that's familiar here. So for instance, on her back, she actually has what would then become Vigil's gadget, as it's exactly the same design as the one we got in release. So she ended up living on, I guess, a little bit in the Vigil that we ended up getting. And also, I think that is a tablet on her back as well, because of course Dokkaebi does have a tablet. It's on her front, she pulls it out. I think that is another tablet on her back, and I think that's probably what she pulled out to use her gadget to either look through the cams or fire off a laser perhaps. But I think we can kind of see a lot of the stuff that did end up becoming both Vigil and Dokkaebi, and this girl was kind of a source of a lot of it. And I overall love the look. Dokkaebi, I remember when she was released, I was like, not too fussed in her look. This girl would have got top marks for me. I think she looks absolutely tactical and really looks like she's going to kick some ass. Very much a 3-speed operator look as well. And yeah, I would have been very happy if this was the white noise attacker at the time. Another difference here between Arachnia and Dokkaebi is the face mask as well, which of course nowadays we associate with COVID and all that, but this is way, like literally years before COVID showed up, and I actually get some kind of Azami vibes from this character, so I wonder if a little bit of inspiration went on to be the Azami character too. And of course Dokkaebi launched without any face mask whatsoever. But yeah, before we finish this video, let's jump back and take a look at the gadget once again. So yeah, battery powered gadget, lasers potentially, a lot of cameras, a lot of sensors. Could have been an early version of the proximity sensor in a lot of ways. It was definitely a stationary thing. Obviously it has a spider-based theme, but an adhesive button means it's not going anywhere. Could have been something she placed down, or like I say, much more sense that she would actually throw it. And I just wonder what this thing used to do. There would have been early gameplay of a version that wouldn't have been modeled or textured or whatever, and it would have at least been somewhat playable. So I do wonder what it ended up being. And like I say, I think the best kind of guess here is that this is basically what we ended up getting with Zero's cameras, but it would have been throwable, maybe a little bit bulkier, and it would have just been, you know, a one-shot laser to take a few gadgets out every so often with a lot of sensors. Although I do like the idea of it having some sort of passive ability where it's able to do like a motion sensor, even if it is just a noise and not pinging enemies, just to let you know that someone was coming down a corridor or through a door or such like that. And I think that could have been pretty damn cool for gameplay way back in Operation White Noise. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think of this alternate history of Rainbow Six Siege, where possibly in some other universe someone is playing this operator called Arachnia right now. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.